My diagnosis is bipolar. At the time they called it Manic Depressive. I was diagnosed as a teenager, and it's led to a lot of confusion in my life. A lot of destructive behaviors. I've affected my family, both my children and my parents and my brother and other family members as well. I've had them concerned about me many times because of my mental state, not wanting to go on and unable to work, unable to provide for myself, my children, not being very functional a lot of my life because of it. For years I went to doctors, family doctors, and they prescribed antidepressants that weren't of any use. And then I ended up going to, I was in and out of hospitals. So then I started the psychiatrist route. And they would give me all different kinds of pills. And they would work for a while, but then they would just stop working. So at the end, being on medications, I was on 5 different kinds of pills. And for the life of me, I can't remember what they are now. But when they tried to give me the 6th pill, I said I'd had enough. They weren't doing it. Increasing the amounts, adding on new pills weren't working for me. And I went off everything. And I decided I wasn't going to live anymore. When I first found out about True Hope, I had made a decision that I was no longer going to live. I wasn't useful to anybody, myself, my family, and it was best if I wasn't around. And some friends of mine had read in the Edmonton Journal about a lady who had been on these vitamins and was bipolar and had miraculous reaction to them. It helped her tremendously. And they approached True Hope on my behalf. And I only agreed to get them off my back. I said I would take it for 6 weeks, and when it didn't work, they could leave me alone, and I would finish doing what I was going to do. And so I started on the vitamins then, and it was like every day I counted off, when is the 6 weeks going to be done? I can't handle this anymore. And at the end of the 6th week, I had just a little bit of difference. I could feel something different in my life. I wasn't quite so hopeless. And still not willing to admit, though, that this stuff was helping. But I did notice some kind of difference. I decided I was going to try it just a little bit longer. I don't even know where that came from. Like, I still wasn't convinced that the vitamins were working, but I guess I just didn't feel so hopeless that I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. It wasn't anything miraculous, but there was just a little something there, and well, okay, maybe one more week. The healing just seemed to kind of flow in, once it started happening more rapidly. I wish it would have just happened overnight, but it did. It made me appreciate it more, though. Like, when I started to feel healthy, I couldn't believe that I could actually feel that way. That it was real for me, like that I could feel like I was normal, like I could function, like I could take care of myself, I could take care of my family, I could work without a problem. I used to get migraines, terrible, horrible migraines. And since I've been on the vitamins, they've tapered off. I still get migraines every now and again, but not like I used to. I always just get totally wiped out with them. Violently ill and couldn't get out of bed for days because I've had a boomer of a headache. And now I get them, and sometimes I have to go lay down for a while, but it's like short-lived, and I very rarely get sick from them anymore. Very rarely. In the wintertime, I find I have to increase the vitamins. I have a little bit of seasonal affective disorder, and I had actually cut down, in the summertime, I cut down to about 12, and I was working on going to 11. Or it was later than summer, it was October-ish. And the snow hit and the gray days and stuff, and I found I had to go back up to 15 a day. Just because I started feeling the weather and not functioning so great. So I went back up and I'm okay now. You know, like I still don't like winter, but it doesn't bother me. There was a time when I was not getting the vitamins, and my symptoms were returning. I started feeling hopeless again. Before I get to the not eating stage, I go to the overeating stage. I was there. I was, you know, eating to kind of bury this hopelessness that I was feeling, I suppose. I wasn't able to function. I started not being able to function at work. I ended up on sick leave. I did try the prescription drug route, and after like 2 weeks of feeling totally nauseated from them, I went back and I said, you know, like, these aren't working. And in the back of my mind, I knew it would be the same thing all over again. They would maybe work for a month or so, and then I'd get worse. So, you know, I did try another batch of antidepressants, and they just didn't work for me. I threw them out. I didn't even finish the prescription. And I phoned True Hope, and I was just like desperate. Please, please, help me get back on the vitamins. And God love them, they were willing. And I'm only crying because I'm grateful. Sorry. I got back on the vitamins, and within a month and a half, I was feeling fantastic again. You know, this is tears of gratefulness. Yeah, I can't imagine life without them now. I really can't, because there's nothing without them. There is no existence for me without them. None.